Ladies and gentlemen, I have a song I wrote. It's called the NFC East. The Cowboys suck. The Eagles are trash. The Redskins are worse. And the Giants are ass. You know, I think the idea is supposed to be that you're supposed to win games. You're supposed to try to win. I think the goal is to win the division. And the way the NFC East is playing, it seems as if all of these teams are doing everything they possibly can to make sure they don't win the division. I don't care what anybody says, the NFC East winner will probably lose the very first game they play in the playoffs. And I tried to give the Jets the benefit of the doubt over the past couple of weeks. And after yesterday, I don't want to hear a word for the rest of the season. You let a winless team in the month of December get their first win against you. This is your NFL Week 13 review. No one does it better. It's that time. We are going to do our weekly NFL review, and we're going to get it for the people. Do it here. This is going to be a later upload just based on the fact that the manager at my job is on vacation and I am the filler in for the department. So it's going to be later. I wanted to do this earlier, but that is why it is a bit dark around me and so on and so forth. I hope everybody is managing to safely commute if you are from the East Coast due to the snow and the wintry mix, and to highly urge all of you to put road salt or outdoor salt around the premises of your household, because you do not want to be the one that busts ass first thing in the morning. But we're going to talk about this, and boy, was it an interesting week in the NFL this week. And we're going to go through all the games. Obviously, you have your Thanksgiving week of the NFL, and there were 3 games on Thanksgiving. For the most part, these games were rather interesting, with the second game coming to be interesting. But the best game was actually the first game, and that was the Bears going to Detroit to take on the Lions in the annual Thanksgiving game. This game came down to the wire, and this was one of the better games from Mitchell Trubisky. He had 338 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. Andre Miller was a receiver for the Chicago Bears, 9 receptions, 140 yards. A touchdown pass with 2 minutes left gives the Bears a win, and it was a big day for Ken Golladay on the losing side. 4 receptions, 158 yards, and a touchdown. The Bears beat the Detroit Lions 24-20 in your first of 3 on Thanksgiving. The Bears, believe it or not, are still alive in the NFC and are in the hunt. They will not make the playoffs. We all know this. And the Lions continue to look miserable, starting their third-string quarterback in this game. But regardless, it was a good game, and it was a good way to start your Thanksgiving. And this is where the Cowboys are going to come out from under and attack me. The second game was the Bills going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. This was a good day for Josh Allen. He had 231 yards, 1 touchdown. Cole Beasley was caught well for the Buffalo Bills. 6 receptions, 110 yards, a touchdown. The Bills' defense holds Dallas in check. Zeke was held to under 100 rushing. And Prescott threw for quite a few yards, but he made some mistakes along the way. 26-15, the Buffalo Bills beat the Dallas Cowboys. Was the Saints and Atlanta in Atlanta. This was a solid day for Drew Brees, who had 184 yards and a touchdown. Cook had 3 receptions and 85 yards. And on the losing side, Calvin Ridley had 8 receptions for 91 yards. The Saints continue to roll with Drew Brees coming back. They are 10-2. They win this game 26-18. That was your Thanksgiving finale, and I would say that 2/3 of the games on Thanksgiving were good. The Cowboys continue to look nothing like they looked in the beginning of the year, and there are some people that are saying they're really going to kick it up. I don't really think so. I could be wrong. I am wrong quite a few times on here, and as you'll know, as we get into more of these games, I was wrong quite a bit this week in my predictions because there were so many ass-backwards things that happened as well. Going on into Sunday, yesterday's games. Our first game that we're going to review was the Browns and the Steelers. Again, this was the second of 2 meetings between these 2 teams, and it was the first meeting since the all-out brawl that happened a few weeks ago. Duck Hodges had a decent performance in here, 212 yards, a touchdown. James Washington, who's been playing much better for Pittsburgh, has 4 receptions for 111 yards and a touchdown. The Browns were visiting here, and they were sent home packing, 20-13. The Steelers stay well alive in the AFC wildcard race, and the Cleveland Browns were probably just eliminated from the playoffs, and they needed to win out. And the second they had a chance to build on momentum, they fall to shit. Baker Mayfield is beyond overrated. I know how many people you try to justify him. Anytime they play against a good team in a high-pressure moment, they absolutely shit the bed. The Browns will not be making the playoffs. Are they mathematically eliminated? Not to my knowledge, but I don't see them making the playoffs. And the Steelers continue to look really good with all of the things they don't have. So I'm banking on the Titans, Steelers, Bills, and I don't know, but it's going to be an interesting AFC wildcard fight as a lot of these teams are going down to the end. The Packers and Giants. We had a bit of weather in this game, and for you people that like to use the term weather, there, believe it or not, is weather every single day. But we had a snowy forecast in this game. Disappointed. It was a brilliant start for Aaron Rodgers. 243 yards and 4 touchdowns. Alan Lazard was a top receiver for Green Bay. 3 receptions, 103 yards and a touchdown. 31-13 Green Bay final. I think that if it was a drier day, this could have been a lot worse for the Giants. But luckily, they got out of the game 31-13. The Giants are now double-digit losses on the season, 2-10. We also saw Saquon Barkley run for a little bit of a better game. Again, you kind of give excuses when it's weather like this, but Daniel Jones had a horrible day. He threw 3 interceptions, and the Giants looked blind for 4 quarters on Sunday. The Eagles and Dolphins, the Eagles fans trying to somehow justify that half of their team is injured, and they are absolutely terrible. Jeffrey came back in this game, and he did well. He had 9 receptions for 137 yards and a touchdown. Fitzpatrick looked like a Pro Bowler, 365 yards, 3 touchdowns. Devontae Parker, top receiver for Miami, 7 receptions, 159 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The Dolphins were to escape this with the victory, 37-31. Again, every team in the NFC East is doing everything they can to not win the division. All of these teams in the NFC East are playing terrible, and believe it or not, the best performing team of recent weeks in the NFC is the Washington Reds. Has pretty much no stats. It was Buccaneers going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, and it was 28-11. The final score was Tampa Bay winning. Minshew is back, and that means no difference. I think he's highly overrated. The Jaguars elect to bench Nick Foles because he has not been performing up to standards or up to par. Peyton Barber ran for 2 touchdowns for Tampa Bay. There were really no top receivers or performers on the quarterback ends. 28-11. Jaguars muster up absolutely nothing. The Buccaneers are winners again. One of the more exciting games of the week was the Titans going to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. And this was a slow start for the Titans. They couldn't really get much going in the first half, but they had second half firepower and another blocked field goal. A good day for Tannehill, 182 yards and 2 touchdowns. Henry is a bull, 149 yards and a touchdown. They had a blocked field goal late. Zach Pascal is a top receiver for the Colts, 7 receptions, 109 yards. The Titans continue to roll. They win 31-17 over the Indianapolis Colts, and they continue to dominate with Ryan Tannehill as their starting core quarterback. 5-1 since Tannehill has become the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans, and it is looking more and more likely that he will be the starting quarterback of the future for the Tennessee Titans, who continue to stay well alive in the AFC wildcard race and potentially even win the division. Those 2 games against Houston late in the season is going to be very crucial for the Titans to win. Jets at Bengals. This is just sad. It really is sad. Robbie Anderson had 7 receptions for 101 yards in the Jets. This was Andy Dalton's first game back, and they celebrated with a win. 22-6, the Bengals get their first win of the season over the New York Jets. The Jets are absolutely terrible. We try to give them the benefit of the doubt after going on a 3 or 4 game win streak, I believe. And they made us eat our words the second they got a chance. The Jets could do absolutely nothing against one of the worst defenses in the league. And Andy Dalton is back, and they're going to probably keep rolling with him. The Bengals are now 1-11 on the season, and will look to maybe get 2 wins this year. The Jets are just lifeless. There's really, I mean, there's no way to describe. There's nothing. I'm just going to keep going. Redskins Panthers. Darius Geis was a top runner in this game, and it was not Christian McCaffrey. Darius Geis had 129 yards and 2 touchdowns for the Washington Redskins. DJ Moore fought well for the Panthers, 6 receptions, 75 yards and a touchdown. When it was all said and done, the Redskins got the win, 29-21, and like I said, have been the top performing team of the NFC. Dwayne Haskins has been doing decent, not great, but decent as the quarterback for the Redskins. The Panthers have definitely flown off since the beginning to middle of the season. They were a red-hot team. The game of the week, on paper, was the 49ers and the Ravens. Lamar Jackson continues to dominate the league. He threw for 105 yards and a touchdown, and then he ran for 100 yards and got a touchdown. Mostert did absolutely phenomenal for the 49ers, rushing 146 yards and a touchdown. All said and done, the Ravens keep rolling. 20-17, the Ravens beat the 49ers, hand them their second loss of the season. The Baltimore Ravens are also 10-2 and are tied with the New England Patriots. So if it results in the Ravens and Patriots being tied at the end of the year, record-wise, I'm going to say that the Ravens would have home field, and that is going to be key to their playoff success. Rams-Cardinals. We finally saw a side of the Rams that we haven't really seen in God knows how long. Jared Goff had 424 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gurley ran well, something he has struggled to do most of the season. 95 yards and a touchdown. And Robert Woods was a monster with 13 receptions and 172 yards for the LA Rams. And they smoked the Cardinals 34-7 and continue to stay alive in the NFC wildcard hunt. A lot of interesting things going on, obviously, on the NFC side of things and the AFC as well. And we're really going to begin to see where all of this will take us going forward. Kansas City and Oakland. Not really much to talk about in this game. The Chiefs literally ripped the Raiders apart, and it wasn't even a great day for most people on the Chiefs. Mahomes didn't do anything impressive. Kels had 5 receptions for 90 yards. Josh Jacobs ran well for Oakland. He had 104 yards. And Darren Waller caught well for Oakland. He had 7 receptions, 100 yards. 40-9, the Kansas City Chiefs obliterate the Oakland Raiders, who I made a prediction of them making it to the playoffs, and is looking less and less likely each week. They've been a good team for most of the season, and all of a sudden, the brakes have hit on the Oakland Raider hype train. Kansas City keeps rolling. They lead the AFC West. I don't really think that they're as good of a team as people give them credit for, at least the way they don't look right now. I understood they win 140-9, but there's just something missing from this Kansas City team. Chargers-Broncos came down to the final seconds. Phillip Rivers had 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marvin Williams was good for LA, 5 receptions, 117 yards. It was a game-winning field goal that sealed the deal for the Broncos, and Drew Lock's debut for the Denver Broncos. Melvin Gordon also had 99 yards on the ground for LA. 23-20, the Broncos win and set down any type of small sliver hope of life the LA Chargers would have for a playoff run. Final game of your Sunday was the New England Patriots getting dominated for most of the game. It was 28-9 at half. Houston was obliterating them, I believe. Brady didn't look too great. It looked pretty bad. Watson had a good day. He had 234 yards and 3 touchdowns. Edelman did have 106 yards on 6 receiving touchdowns. Brady played a lot better in the second half and attempted a comeback that was failed. 28-22, the Texans win and continue to hold down the AFC South in the division. Another thing to address here too is how awful the Patriots have been looking over recent weeks. They're now 10-2, and they may go on a losing streak. I doubt it. It's very rare you see the Patriots lose consecutive games in a row, but that is the way you're getting it. Final game of the week tonight: Minnesota and Seattle. Should be a great game with great implications toward the playoffs. I made my prediction earlier that Seattle was going to win. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and we have more content to come. Subscribe if you have yet to do so.